Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Eve Prosper Market Show. I'm your host, Lockefox, and we're going to talk about... God damn it. I'm your host, Lockefox, and we're going to talk about the news and the market. We're going to start the show where we usually do, to the serene view of the Jita Undock, talking about some of the show news. Real quick, we hit our 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thanks everyone who is watching us there. Again, if you want to follow the show, all you have to remember is Eve Prosper. That will get you to YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and the blog and the podcast. So if you want to follow us, that's the place to do it. So thanks again, everyone. And if you're watching live, we're going to be giving away a Plex at the end of the show. I have some trivia from Feridian of Hydrostatic, and we will be giving away a Plex. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to do a different giveaway for you guys so that there's a little more participation. So stay tuned. Don't feel like you're left out. We have more Plex to give away. It's going to be awesome. The next milestone I want to hit so that we can give away more Plex is that I'd love to see 300 subscribers on Twitch. So come see us on Twitch. Information will be in the link. Will be in the channel info below. Next, I usually pimp our Patreon page where you can support the show, but we're going to belay that this week and support Ashtarothi. You might know Ashtarothi from Hydrag and Hydrostatic. He's a great guy. He's the main host at Hydrostatic. It wouldn't be Hydrostatic without him. And real life has been a real bitch and a half to him in the last week or so. So, he's started up a Give Forward campaign, and I will give links in the channel info. Instead of sending patrons my way, I'd really appreciate it if you guys would drop by there and send him some reps, if it were. He's dealing with a lot, and this would be a huge benefit. And that's pretty much all the show news we have to cover this week. So let's go on to the in-game news. I know we missed last week, so I don't have a bunch of last week's news. Also, I have been just balls to the wall busy at work, so it's been really tough to keep up with the news. So we're going to do just a real quick overview of what's been going on and get straight into the market stuff. If you guys didn't see, the Carnix patch notes just launched. They launched either today or yesterday. So go ahead and read those. Be ready for the release, I believe, next Tuesday. The Plex for Good campaign just closed yesterday. I was hoping for a tabulated total before this show, but I expect those numbers to come out on Monday. It seems to be a really successful campaign, so as soon as we know the numbers, I'll report them as well. Also, a new scope video was released today, and detailing the retconning in why stations are invulnerable in HiSec. It was a pretty interesting one if you're a lore nerd. They usually are. Second to last is Capstable is going to record their first CSM watch this week, so expect to see that out in the following week. That'll be an interview with some of the CSM people. I'm not sure about the guests and such, but if you want to keep current with what's going on with the CSM, they're one of the great places to go do it. And then last but not least, if you're a video creator, if you're a streamer, if you need video content, CCP Manifest put up a call out today for starting a video press kit, essentially. If you've looked at the CCP website, there is a regular press kit which has like images and clips and stuff for news articles. This would be a video version of that. So if you have feedback on what to include in there, what you'd like to see, as far as audio visual goes, go ahead and comment on the thread. Link will be in the chat, in the info below. With that, let's move right on to Plex. Now, I know we've been gone a couple of weeks. We saw a dip on the last show because of a sale, and we recovered out of that into what I thought would be a flat land. But we've risen to 880 territory. This is a bit higher than I expected at this moment. Traffic seems to be a little on the low side. The market is extremely stable at the moment. To continue to see upward pressure on Plex is a little weird, especially with lowered volumes, not incredibly low, just a little bit low. I think that we're in for a rise up into FuzzySov. I just don't know how high, how fast. So that's what we're looking at in Plex. And if we look at the year to date, we can see that we're coming right in on that 900 million mark, which then turned into a runaway earlier in the year. But I expect this climb to be far more stable. I kind of expect a ceiling around 900, 920. I don't think that we'll actually get the climb all the way up to 1 billion again before the summer's up. I think we're going to climb into 920, into FuzzySov, slide into 900, 890 into the end of summer, and then start the climb up to 1 billion in October. But 1 billion in October is a quote-unquote expected price, so just keep an eye out there. And then if we look at the actual buy and sell spreads, we can see that the territory is pretty stable. This wide buy-sell spread would be a signal of perhaps falling prices over the weekend. But again, stable and falling kind of are the same thing when it comes to Plex prices. And then if we look at the RMT tokens, we see that there was a run on the body resculpt certificates, and the spread was closing the last time we talked on multiple pilot training certificates, but the buy orders have since fallen. So if you're looking for multi-character training, I'd be going out and buying those through buy orders. The sell orders are more than the Plex it would cost to actually do it. So there's that. Moving on to minerals. We saw that most everything was in free fall the last time we talked 2 weeks ago. And things are far more stable now. We're seeing titanium hit the bottom at about 5.2. And has since climbed up to about 5.3, 5.4. Again, I expect this to stay in this band between 5.3 and 5.4. There's no reason to think that it's going to go up or down until we see any more news. Same with pyrite. We're seeing that we fell into the last couple of weeks, but we're staying stable at about 11.25. Again, no reason to think that things are going left or right on this one. There's not really anything to report on pyrite. Last time we talked, though, Mexilon was in free fall, as I said, as we flew down to 45. We've since normalized around 45. It's still falling, but we're in if I may abuse a term, in a more steady fall. I think 45, 44 is about a fair price here. So, if you want to speculate and if you want to look like a super genius, Mexilon is an excellent opportunity to do so. If you buy in on Mexilon right now, what you are betting is that the news for super capitals is going to be well received. That a capital rebalance and a super capital rebalance will revive demand for capitals. That's what a buy-in in Mexilon looks like right now. It's a risky bet because nullsec is producing more of it. We saw most of the fall thanks to no longer needing to ship it from JITA to nullsec, so a big chunk of demand evaporated. I mean, it's still being used, but it's not being bought directly off the market. So we're seeing less of it. We're seeing less of it in the system. It's still there, but it's just not being accounted for through the API tools. Next, Isogen is rather interesting. We're seeing it fall down below 110, which is again unstable territory, and would be a decent opportunity to buy in. Again, it's kind of risky. Isogen buys could be falling because of nullsec supply. I think Isogen's undervalued at the moment, but I don't think it has much room to climb, if that makes any sense. So it's not really a great buy. Moving on to Noxium, we saw it bottom out around a little under 550. We saw a bump up in the last couple of days, but we're back down to where we were. I'm not sure what this particular spike was here a couple of days ago. I think it's just an anomaly. We see some similar spikes in the previous history. But keep an eye on this one. It might be a good chance to jump in if things get hot for a couple of days, and sell off the stock. It's a risky bet though. Zydrine, the darling of the last couple of months, is stable, falling very slowly. We're at about 12,000. We're at about 1,200, and we're staying really stable. Not a lot to report here. Volumes are rather stable. They're a little bit higher than I expected, but only a touch higher than I expected. Megasite, again, we saw a bunch of action a couple of months ago, and now we're seeing things stay locked in at 2,000. Not a lot to report. It looks like there was a big sell-off a couple of days ago. But the market rebounded right to 2K, so nothing really interesting to report here. Now, Morphite, the one that if you've been listening to the show since the start is one I hate predicting, went absolutely nuts since last week. I'm really sad that we missed last week's show because this is particularly interesting. Morphite is on a tear up. And I don't know if it's a constraint in supply. It does not look like a big uptick in demand. But when we get a little bit later in the show, we will see some additional spikes in T2 materials. So we might actually be seeing a resurgence of Tech 2 production. This would be great to see with going into the Carnix and the I forget the name of the one that's going to deliver Fozzie expansions, because this would mean that we are seeing a lot more activity in general. And activity means that the market will move. The more the market moves, the more opportunities there are for everyone to make money. So I'm hoping that this is the bellwether I've been waiting for, but I also miscalled it like 4 weeks ago. So I'm not going to get too excited yet. And then if we look at everything in a big view, looking at the buy and sell spreads for the last couple of months, we'll see that Morphite still looks like it has room to climb. Noxium looks like it still has room to fall. Pyrite could go either way. Zydrine is trending up very slightly, but that could come back down. Otherwise, things are looking reasonably stable. Not a lot of momentum either way. Next, we move on to fuel, where we saw a couple of weeks ago with the Burn Amar announcement, a tear on helium isotopes. We're since seeing the prices fall. I should put a link to the article I wrote about one of Goonswarm's ice interdictions. This looks a lot like it. We see a ton of activity with the announcement with the threat of violence. And by the time violence actually shows up, most of the action will be done. And if I may put on a tinfoil hat for a moment, it sure seems like, it seems to me like an opportunity for the higher-ups in the CFC or Imperium to make news for themselves, make a bunch of money up in the higher-ups, give the illusion that the lower downs are going to make money, but actually just end up playing a shell game where the people at the bottom are buying in at the worst time and the people higher up on the totem pole are selling at the best. I know it's kind of a shitty thing to say. I don't think that like they're looking to screw their members. I just think that both sides are playing the news, and one side is playing it right, and one side is getting played. It's a personal opinion. Send hate mail to prospermarketshow@gmail.com. And then if we look at fuel blocks, we're seeing that we're tracking prices right along with isotopes. Caldari seem to be slightly undervalued at the moment, but and Amar fuel blocks might be slightly overvalued, but everything else looks pretty stable. Moving on to the outliers, let's start where we usually do with moon materials. We're looking at dysprosium at the moment, and we saw it got cut off in the graph, but a few months ago we saw a sudden tick up and a sudden tick up, and nothing really to back it up, and we've seen that a lot of that momentum dried up, but the prices are climbing again. And this, I don't know if it's a fight down in the south in Delve. I don't know if it's up demand that is finally moving the prices again. We're not grossly out of proportion for stability, but we're seeing more heat than I expected, is I guess the best way to put it. And if we keep looking at T2 materials, we see hypersynaptic fibers all hitting 11,000, which is a huge jump. And they're staying high, which is great. So if you're producing, this is a great chance to get out, but the price could collapse any moment now. Also, phenolic composites. This graph is a little misleading. We were down at 1,200. We're now up at 1,350. I would say that this was outrageous if we actually hit 1,400. This 1,350 seems like a price reset, and I'm only saying that because because this is a product I watch rather closely. Also, nanotransistors spiked, but they also followed a neodymium spike, so this could be nothing. This I don't up and down that quick. It's hard to say if it's actually doing something. Also moving on to data core laser physics, it looks like Amar are getting ready to cash out their faction warfare loyalty points. So if you have things that the Amar faction warfare guys would be selling, you need to sell right now. You need to stop the show, stop listening to me right now, log into your trader alt, and get rid of it. If you're in the mood to buy Amar's stuff, I'd say wait until the week. We should be seeing prices drop into the weekend. This is a bit of a crystal ball thing. I could be 50-50 on this, but between this and some of the action I was seeing in dog tags, it really looks like people are gunning for a Amar faction warfare loyalty point cash out. So keep an eye on those. Moving on to ships, the Naga has been on a tear. Now we do sort of... So I'm of two minds here. One, we expect the attack battle cruisers to be very popular with the news, with the threat of Burn Amar coming. But one, we don't know when Burn Amar is actually happening. I was expecting it before Memorial Day, and it hasn't happened yet. Diana Olympus in the Tweetfleet Slack is putting their money on the second weekend of June. Not a bad prediction. I kind of want to agree. Until that happens, things are going to be it could go either way. Also, the Naga isn't exactly the best suicide ganking boat, so I don't know why it's climbing, especially in the face of falling mineral prices. This is far and away out of balance, in my opinion. Also, the Prophecy was significantly popular over the week we were off, but has since fallen back down. I think it still has more room to fall. I don't know how many people actually fly Prophecies. The last time I flew a Prophecy, I was such a dirty, rotten noob, I put railguns on it. So, yeah. These, I don't know who would be using them. If we think that the Imperium or CFC are heading out to Providence, you might expect more Amar ships to be consumed by the CVA Amar roleplayer kind of people. But you could also bet on just about any other PvP meta in the region and be right. Another interesting one, I know we've been tracking the Epsilon. I want to say is what it is. The Epsilon. And the prices for the Zephyr, which is another special edition ship, have peaked and are starting to fall. I don't know if this is trading positions or just they were popular because people started looking at special edition assets into the Eve birthday, and then sold off all of their positions. So if you wanted a Zephyr, these things are really great. They're a really great model, and they do not get attacked by NPCs except for drifters if you try to go into the special wormholes. They are, and Alange is correcting me, the Echelon, not the Epsilon. So, sorry. Bonus points to Alange. They're a great little ship. They're actually one of my favorite models. You should go pick one up. The prices are falling. I don't know where they're going to fall. The volumes are abysmally low, so I wouldn't even speculate in here. But they're cute. They're a cool little ship. Moving on to modules. 1600 millimeter reinforced steel plates Tech 1 are spiking hard. They almost doubled in price over the course of the week, and they're staying stable. So it looks like we're seeing a very strong buy pressure. This looks like it might be part of a coalition meta shift. Somebody buying up a ton of stock for fitting a buttload of ships. These are. It's interesting to see them as high as they are. Also, expect this to ripple through the Tech 2 version. Another interesting one is the Ice Harvester 2. I know I mentioned a couple of shows ago one of the mining barges had tripped our flags, and this week we're seeing the Ice Harvester 2 trip it. This is probably in reaction to high Amar fuel prices. I don't expect this to stay high for very long. It's either going to stay stable or fall. I don't expect it to climb any higher. Another very interesting spike has been the Ogre 2s. They have fallen in and out of favor depending on how you feel about drones or how worried you are about nerfs. And they are extremely popular this week. So if you have the opportunity to build them, if you have some laying around, this is a great chance to sell. I don't know when another good chance to buy will come around, but if the past is any prediction for the future, expect the prices to fall over the next week into next weekend, perhaps. And it'd be a good chance to buy in again if you think the pattern will repeat. Another interesting spike has been the Stasis Web of Fire 2s. We've seen a large price increase without a large volume increase to follow along with it. This might be producers slacking off. It might be more people buying in. It might be a lot of things. I'm not sure exactly what's driving this per se. So yeah, we'll see what's happening with the Stasis Web 2s. Another interesting one, which I don't know how many people are really going to care about it, is Solarium, which I didn't get a chance to look up what it goes into. I think it's a gas reactant. I can never remember. I'm pretty sure it's a gas reactant. And it has gone from 5,000 to 7,000 over the course of about a week. Prices continue to climb. Not sure where the ceiling is on this. The volumes are a little bit weird. Looks like demand is ramping up. If this is what I think it is, if it is a T3 component, this would be both have upward pressure because of the anticipated burn of Mar, where most wormhole goods are traded, come out of wormhole and they go to Amar because Amar has all the wormholes. Or it's in anticipation for the Jackdaw. These are both possibilities. They might both be working together. But I don't exactly know what Solarium goes into, so I could be dead wrong. And this one is out of order, so I'm sorry, but the Stabber fleet issue is falling fast. We expected this because I reported on the last show that it looked like the Minmatar were having their faction warfare payout holiday, and the prices have bottomed out. If this is the sort of thing you want to speculate in, now is a perfect time to buy in. Prices should recover over the next 2 weeks. I mean, not a bad chance to make a chunk of money if you're patient. Volumes aren't excellent. They're in the 25 to 40 range. But I don't expect prices to fall much further, so it's a great chance to get in. And then this one, it's not really important, but it's one of my favorite items, and I thought it was cute that it flagged, because it looked like somebody's been screwing up some of the buy orders. Is Long-Limbed Rose spider legs, yum yum. Not really a speculation thing, I just love the item, so, because I'm a nerd. Moving on to the last segment of the show, the prediction review. The Echelon, which I said was Epsilon earlier, and Elange corrected me. The Echelon has since stopped its peaks and valleys. We could be seeing another peak in the next week. Again, this has kind of been a weird one. It's hard to predict, especially with the volumes as low as they are. It's kind of a weird one to be in. If you want to go and invest in it, I would love to hear if you win or lose on this one. It's a risky bet, but it could pay off big time. And also, as a prediction review, this is going to be our last look at the Genelution implants. They were given away as the 3s and the 4s were given away as the birthday present. And demand on CA1s and CA2s since spiked. Prices seem to are surprisingly stable on the CA1s and CA2s. I expected them to decay back down to sub 100 million by now. But the spreads look relatively stable. They don't look like they're dragging down. So, and the resolution is completely washed out on the CA3s and CA4s, so I can't really tell you what they're doing. Thanks again for tuning in to the Eve Prosper Market Show. I've been your host, Lockefox. If you like what we do here, you can follow us at, all you have to remember is Eve Prosper. That will get you to Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and the blog and the podcast. We usually would also ask you to support us on Patreon, but links will be in the show info to support our friend of the show, Ash Jarathi, through his hard times. So be sure to check that out, and if you can give, please give. We will be back next week with another episode of the show where we review market and news analysis. And I know that we're doing a Plex giveaway on the live stream, but for all of you YouTube viewers, we'll be doing another giveaway next week that's a little more friendly for you, for those who can't tune in live. So don't worry, you can get your Plex too. Again, thanks for tuning in. I've been Lockefox. This has been the Eve Prosper Market Show.